Well, hello and a very warm welcome to Daily Dispatch, a show that gives you all the latest news and updates from the startup ecosystem. I'm Priya Sheth. Thank you so much for logging in. Time now to get you all the movers and shakers in the digital space at this point. Well, first up, we have sales engagement platform Outplay, which has raised $2 million in funding from Sequoia Capital India's search program for early stage startups. Now, Outplay was founded in January 2020 and is focused on small to medium sized companies. Now, Outplay now has more than 300 clients. Well, moving on to the second headline of the day, aerial mobility startup the ePlane company has raised $1 million as part of its seed funding round. This funding will enable the ePlane company to build an engineering team to develop intellectual properties as well as show early product demonstrations in 2021. Well, digital entertainment company Hungama along with Hindustan Talkies has made a strategic investment in Indian Gaming League. IGL will be utilizing these funds to acquire new users as well as develop new features to increase user engagement on the platform. Well, moving on to the final headline of the day, social platform Kuhu has raised seed funding from a consortium of investors. A large part of this funding will be utilized to build its engineering as well as product teams.
Well, moving on to our second segment, we have with us someone who has been in the startup ecosystem for the longest time. I have with me Mr. Revant Bhate, who is an investor and an entrepreneur and is running Mosaic Wellness at this point in time. Thank you, Mr. Bhate, for joining us today on the Daily Dispatch. I want to begin by asking you, the last couple of months have been very challenging for the entire industry across segments. For a business to really stay relevant at this point in time, innovation is a top priority. So what, according to you, have you done at Mosaic Wellness to ensure that, the business model is lean and agile and able to sort of adapt with this volatile environment?
Yeah, first of all, Priya, thanks for having me here. I think we were quite lucky that we had just hired our core team pre-COVID. And one of the key benefits of having been an operator before and operated at scale was I sort of knew how to manage large teams as well. So very quickly we moved to the OKR system, where effectively if you have a good team who understands and can implement OKRs, it really helps bring in a lot more thought clarity even in a remote work environment. So I think we were one of the few lucky ones where we didn't really need to do anything different apart from just make sure that we followed the process that we had set in. I think agility wise, yes, we could have been a little faster, but I think that's been the norm for all of us, right? We have figured it out along the way a little bit. But I think innovation wise, making sure that the company stays true to its objectives, making sure that everyone knows what they are gunning for is something that a good young team and adherence to some system, could be OKR for someone, could be JTPP for someone else. But just making sure that there is some system that helps bring alignment within the organization is very, very helpful in these times.
I wanted to ask you about the kind of, environment. When you look at the road ahead in 2021, there are a lot of challenges out there. Businesses are struggling to recover what was lost in 2020. But for Mosaic Wellness, what is your plan for 2021? What is the outlook going forward?
So we were actually one of the few ones that I would say in the neutral zone. Demand-wise, I think we saw more demand than what was expected because we are in digital health. Supply-wise, obviously, we are still, we were affected. I think we are now coming back to a good place. I think, honestly, if you ask me, I'm very, very proud of the Indian startup ecosystem and how we have evolved in this time. If you ask me, we've seen a lot more firms come out much more stronger than what we expected. I think the ecosystem is thriving by making sure that they have made either taken advantage of the situation or pivoted their models to make sure that they survive and continue to chug along. Right? If you look around after the first 3 months of doom and gloom, there's just so much positive news about how different startups have really figured it out. And I'm proud to say that that we also have a good young team who's figured out a way to work in this environment and make sure we did okay in 2020. And at least we are poised to scale up the business in 2021. I think the situation's much better now. People have a good sense of what the future looks like. And I think that outlook has helped us plan a little bit better for 2021. We expect to at least grow 4 to 5 times in 2021 compared to last year.
That is some robust growth numbers that you've spoken about. When you talk about the whole funding environment, Mosaic Wellness raised about $10 million before you launched in 2020, and you have a series of eminent investors on board. At this point in time, we're seeing a lot of cash chasing startups. There seems to be a lot of money out there in the market. So do you think at this point in time, the funding environment along with the startup environment has also evolved? Do you think it's far easier to raise money right now?
So yes, I think it's very easy for any good team and a good business to raise money. I don't think the environment's changed that drastically if you don't have the right team structure or if you don't have the right business model. So if you see the entire VC life journey in the last 10, 15 years, initially it was e-commerce, then it was hyperlocal delivery. So see, there are trends and phases that have to be spotted, which is where VC capital would flow in, right? What the pandemic has thrown up is suddenly there seem to be a glut of opportunities for digitization. For you look at the SMB tech space, you can look at SaaS, you look at agri-tech. The entire country has suddenly digitized, and a bunch of ideas that seemed far-fetched now seem plausible for reality, right? So I think the capital being available is a function of the kind of opportunities that we are seeing. So you will never have, of course, I know interest rates are low and therefore capital may want to flow into long-term private assets as well. But there is never fire without a spark, right? And the spark is young entrepreneurs really sensing the huge number of opportunities that exist today in the country and taking advantage of it, right? And I think that's just very, very favorable for always having a good, thriving VC environment as well.
You've also been an investor. You've led a lot of these funding rounds at Kalari Capital. I want to understand from a perspective of an investor at this point in time, what is the kind of playbook that a startup should really work with? Because investors at this point in time are also chasing returns. We are also seeing a lot of exits taking place. So what kind of playbook does a startup really have to keep in mind at this point in time?
So I think the playbook's not changed if you ask me over the last 15 years, right? Valuations may have gone up. I think overall, I think the playbook remains the same, where if you have a strong thesis, which is a niche, which can become a large outcome, that is where VC funding will happen, right? And entrepreneurs have become much more smarter at recognizing those opportunities. But I think primarily because I had my experience in spotting those opportunities at Rebel Foods and then subsequently could think of doing something on my own, right? Similarly, if you look at, maybe there are about 10,000 people in all of the 40 unicorns in our country, right? And each of those folks are getting exposure to how to spot these opportunities. So I think it's a multiplier effect that's taking place. And fundamentally, nothing still changes. You need to have a very, very strong consumer insight or a market insight. And you need to sort of create a co-founding team which is going to be adept at solving for that market. Insight should be sharp enough that you will get product market fit quickly, or you already have product market fit, and then you need to scale it out from there. I think what has changed is access to capital. I think VCs are far more, the number of VCs have grown. The kind of AUM under management for VCs has increased significantly. So funding rounds have obviously grown in size, valuations have grown. I think what's also very interesting to see is the thriving angel investment environment. 5 years back, it was very hard to raise angel money. 10 years back, it was almost impossible. Yesterday, me and a few other angels invested in this creator economy app which raised almost $1 million just from angels, right? So I think there was a time when raising seed fund from a VC used to be $500,000. Now angels are making sure that $1 million round happens, which is great for entrepreneurs, right? And I think that's the big change that I would advise entrepreneurs to do, because there's a lot of VC capital. Getting the right angels on board is very, very critical, especially initially during your first couple of years, where taking advice from other entrepreneurs is always the most helpful. That is what I missed the most before. That is what I still miss. We also sort of took on board quite a few angels, specifically from that point of view, right? We really wanted to get advice from people who have passed through these early stages. And that's the most helpful advice that any entrepreneur can get.
Last question before I let you go on basically your mistakes, or perhaps learnings is a better word, from the last couple of years of your experience for an aspiring entrepreneur in the marketplace. What should they keep in mind? What are the mistakes they should avoid? If you could name maybe 2 or 3 of those.
So a couple of mistakes I knew we should not commit, which we have not, which I had done in the past, was worry about competition, right? Competition will always come. And it's very hard, it's this human tendency. You always, and entrepreneurs are especially emotional wrecks. Honestly, if you ask any CEO, and they'll talk about sleeping and meditation and all of that, but we are all emotional wrecks, trust me. So it's very hard to not keep track of the market and competition. But thankfully, we have avoided that. One mistake that I've done as maybe a first-time CEO is not trust the team enough. Over the last 1 year, I also learned that if you trust the team, learn to let go. Everybody's good, young, smart. If you give them high ownership, let them sort of thrive, they will tend to surprise you a lot more. So very, very happy to have learned that very early in my entrepreneurship career as well. It's been less than a year that we have started. I'm very proud to have a good young team. It took me a while, never been my forte I am actually a quintessential micromanager. So that's one mistake that at least I would advise most entrepreneurs to not commit, or at least if you're committing it very early and learn to let go very soon.
All right. On that note, many thanks for joining us today on this special edition. It's a pleasure speaking with you and hope to catch you soon again. Thank you so much.
Well, time now to say goodbye. Many thanks for joining us on this edition of the Daily Dispatch. I'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Goodbye and stay safe.